Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back in the Mazda MX-5, this time at Charlotte Roval 2025 layout for yet another track guide. Now this is mainly for the Production Car Cup and the Production Car Challenge, the endurance version, and therefore it's open setup. And if you want to race this exact setup being used by Gianni Lutzu here, you can go to either our website, sambosetups.com, which is being shown on the bottom right hand side of the screen, or you can go to our Patreon page, where in the first 3 weeks we've got just over 100 members, and we are so grateful for everyone for the support. Any questions, let me know in the comments, and if you want some coaching yourself from the great man Gianni Lutzu, again, there is a link in the description to his website. Right, let's start the hot lap. So here we are, smashing it over the start finish straight, looking for our entry into turn one, which is going to be that one marker, breaking up to about 35% back on the gas in second gear. Absolutely flat out through here. Head over to the left-hand side now at the Bank of America side. We're just going to come off the gas and we're just barely touching the brakes, down to second gear, back on the gas. I've got to say, I obviously tested this setup after Gianni created it, and yeah, it's the first time the Mazda's really felt like a sports car as opposed to a hippo. On the brakes at about 30%, down to third. Head back over to the right-hand side. As we get to the little apex of it, on the brakes quite hard, immediately down to first gear, using that engine braking, go all the way up to the top, and then we're going to head back down the hill. Gianni was still 0.6 faster than me, so if you're chasing a time, a 34.5 was my best with this setup. On the brakes, about 80% down to second gear. Really attacking these curbs, using the soft suspension that the Mazda has. Now we're cutting the corner, but we're going to come back up to the line by that horizontal line. I'll show you in the breakdown lap what I mean. He's holding it really down low. Now we're looking for these water barrels on the left-hand side. We go through there. As we get to the grass, breaking up to about 60%, down to second gear again, sliding it through, back on the gas. Little correction, and over and across the line he goes in a 1:33.9. So yeah, my best was a 34.5. If you're wanting to chase someone that isn't as good as Gianni. Right, we'll do the breakdown lap next. On the breakdown lap, so our first braking marker is this one sign. So as you can see, just before we get there, he hits peak pressure there of 38-39%, but now he's going to trail it off, drops it down to second, and he's starting to get back on the gas now, so that when he's actually at the apex, he's already up at 100%. He's going to get nice and close to that wall on the right-hand side, and then again to the same on the left-hand side. Now at the Bank of America, all it's going to be is a lift, and as you can see, and he's barely touching the brakes, only at sort of 4%, just to keep that balance right. Keeping it in third gear, still just on the brakes. Now he drops it down to second and slowly builds back up to 100%. Doesn't hit that inside curb, or the no-cut curb anyway. Absolutely flat out as we go through turn 5. We want to be all the way over to the left-hand side, as you can see, just not in the grass. Now we're going to do a lift once we get over the crest of this little rise here. So as you can see, and he gets on the brakes up to about 30%. Wants to get the right-hand tyres over the rumble strip on the right-hand side here, and then he gets back up to 100% more or less as soon as his right-hand tyres are off that rumble strip. Over to the right-hand side. Now, this is the braking marker, so I'm actually going to do what I never normally do. I'm going to rewind slightly so that you can see. So we start braking at the end of the rumble strip on the left-hand side, so once that goes out of the view, that's when he immediately gets on the brakes, and he gets up there up to about 80%. Trails it off down to first, picking back up on the gas now at the apex. Gets up to 100%, and he's got what, nearly 90-degree lock on. And it's still sending him up. Up the hill, that is. Now hold it really low, so left-hand tyres are below the white line. Now he's going to head back over to the right-hand side. And our braking marker should be just before the 3. So, yep. And he initially gets up to, ooh, there was an 85, I think I saw in there. So, and immediately drops it down to second gear, get that engine braking going. So he's really cutting the corner there. Left-hand tyres are going over the no-cut curbs. And then he brakes a little bit harder once the car's settled. immediately turns in and starts getting back on the gas now. And as you can see, really attacks that curb because the car is now on 2 wheels. Straight up to 100%, missing that wall. So we can stay down below this white line to our right all the way until this white line here. That's when we've got to have our right-hand tyres back on the line, which she does. Right, so we're going to go past these barrels here, but we're going to start braking once we go across this little seam up ahead of us just before the grass. So we've gone on the seam and now on the brakes. And again, he holds it at around 62%, down to second gear, gets that little bit of slide going. It's back on the gas, but he doesn't go up to full power until now. And look at that, immediately turns the direction of the car, just clipping that inside curb. And over and across the line he goes in a 33.9. We've got one final version coming up next with the driving line on without me talking. Enjoy.